Surviving in the desert requires an understanding of the environment you're dealing with. Deserts are characterized by extreme temperatures, scarce water sources, and limited vegetation. Daytime temperatures can soar well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius, while nighttime temperatures can drop below freezing. The arid conditions mean that water is scarce, and the terrain can be challenging to navigate. The key to desert survival is preparation, conservation of resources, and a keen awareness of your surroundings. Whether you're planning a desert adventure or find yourself unexpectedly stranded, the information in this guide will be invaluable. Staying calm and assessing your situation. The first and most crucial step in any survival situation is to stay calm. Panic can lead to irrational decisions that can exacerbate your situation. Take a moment to breathe deeply and assess your circumstances. What resources do you have? What is your physical condition? Are there any immediate dangers such as predators or environmental hazards? Begin by taking stock of your supplies. Check your water, food, clothing, and any tools or equipment you have. Understanding what you have at your disposal will help you make informed decisions moving forward. Finding shelter. One of the most immediate concerns in the desert is finding shelter from the sun. Prolonged exposure to the sun can lead to heat stroke and dehydration, which can be fatal. Your goal is to find or create shade where you can rest and protect yourself from the extreme heat. Natural shelters can include large rocks, caves, or overhangs. If you can't find a natural shelter, create your own using what you have. A simple tarp, blanket, or even clothing can be used to create shade. Use sticks, rocks, or any available materials to prop up your shelter. The goal is to minimize your exposure to direct sunlight during the hottest parts of the day, typically between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Water, the lifeline. Water is the most critical resource in the desert. The human body can survive for weeks without food but only a few days without water. If you have water with you, ration it carefully. Drink small sips regularly rather than large gulps. This helps your body retain fluids more effectively. If you don't have water, finding a source should be your top priority. Here are some strategies for locating water in the desert. Follow animal tracks. Animals need water to survive, so following their tracks can lead you to a water source. Look for converging tracks, which often indicate a nearby water hole or stream. Vegetation. Green vegetation is a sign of water. Trees and shrubs with deep roots often indicate underground water sources. Digging near these plants can sometimes reveal moist soil, which you can extract water from using a cloth. Dry riverbeds. Even if a riverbed looks dry, there may be water beneath the surface. Digging in the lowest points of the riverbed, especially where the sand is damp, can yield water. Morning dew. In some desert regions, dew can form on plants and rocks during the night. Use a cloth to soak up the dew and wring it out into a container. Solar still. A solar still can be used to collect water from the ground. Dig a hole, place a container in the center, and cover the hole with a plastic sheet. Place a small rock in the center of the sheet to create a cone shape. Condensation will form on the underside of the plastic and drip into the container. Avoiding dehydration. Preventing dehydration is crucial. Here are some tips to conserve your body's water. Stay in the shade. Avoid direct sunlight as much as possible. Stay in your shelter during the hottest parts of the day. Limit physical activity. Try to minimize physical exertion to reduce sweating. Move slowly and deliberately. Wear appropriate clothing. Wear loose, light-colored clothing that covers your skin. This helps protect you from the sun and reduce water loss through sweating. Breathe through your nose. Breathing through your mouth can increase water loss. Try to breathe through your nose to conserve moisture. Travel wisely. If you need to travel, do so during the cooler parts of the day, such as early morning or late evening. Night travel is also an option, but it requires careful navigation. Mark your path as you go to avoid getting lost. Plan your route carefully. If you have a map and compass, use them to navigate. If you don't, use natural landmarks to help you find your way. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, which can help you determine direction. Food, sustenance in the desert. While water is the most critical resource, food is also important for maintaining your strength and energy. The desert may not seem like it has much to offer, but there are sources of nourishment if you know where to look. Edible plants. Some plants in the desert are edible. Cactus fruits, such as those from the prickly pear cactus, are a good source of hydration and nutrients. Be sure to remove the spines and peel the skin before eating. Other edible plants include mesquite beans and wild onions. Insects and small animals. Insects, such as ants and grasshoppers, are a good source of protein. They can be eaten raw or cooked if you have the means to make a fire. Small animals like lizards and rodents can also be a food source, but they require more effort to catch and prepare. Emergency rations. If you have any emergency food supplies, ration them carefully. Eat small amounts to maintain energy without depleting your supplies too quickly. Navigation and orientation. Finding your way in the desert can be challenging, but it's essential for reaching safety. Here are some techniques to help you navigate. Using the sun. During the day, you can use the position of the sun to determine direction. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. By noting the sun's position, you can establish a general sense of direction. Using the stars. At night, you can use the stars to navigate. In the northern hemisphere, the North Star, Polaris, is a reliable point of reference. It remains fixed in the sky and can help you determine north. Natural landmarks. Use mountains, distinctive rock formations, and other natural features to orient yourself. Make a mental note of these landmarks to avoid walking in circles. Marking your path. As you travel, mark your path with rocks, sticks, or other materials. This will help you avoid getting lost and can also serve as a signal for rescuers. Signaling for help. If you're lost in the desert, signaling for help is crucial. Here are some methods to attract attention. Reflective signals. Use a mirror, shiny metal, or any reflective surface to signal aircraft or distant people. Reflecting sunlight can be seen from miles away. Smoke signals. If you can build a fire, use it to create smoke signals during the day. Adding green vegetation to the fire will produce thick, white smoke, which is more visible from a distance. Ground signals. Create large, visible signals on the ground using rocks, branches, or any available materials. Spell out help or SOS in large letters. Whistle or shouting. If you hear a plane or helicopter, use a whistle or shout at regular intervals to attract attention. Sound travels farther in open spaces. Cell phone. If you have a cell phone, turn it on periodically to check for a signal. Text messages often go through when calls do not. Keep the phone off when not in use to conserve battery. Dealing with wildlife. The desert is home to various wildlife, some of which can pose a threat. Here are some tips for staying safe. Snakes. Many desert snakes are venomous. Avoid tall grass, bushes, and rock crevices where snakes might hide. If you encounter a snake, back away slowly and give it plenty of space. Scorpions and spiders. Shake out your clothing and shoes before putting them on to avoid scorpions and spiders. Be cautious when moving rocks or logs, as these creatures often hide underneath. Insects. Insects like ants and beetles can be a nuisance. Use insect repellent if you have it, and avoid sleeping directly on the ground. Predators. Larger predators, such as coyotes and mountain lions, are generally more active at night. Avoid leaving food scraps around your campsite, and store food in sealed containers. Building a fire. Fire can be a valuable tool for warmth, cooking, and signaling. If you have the means to start a fire, follow these steps. Gather materials. Collect dry wood, twigs, and leaves. Look for kindling that will catch fire easily, such as dry grass or small sticks. Create a fire pit. Clear a small area of ground and create a circle of rocks to contain the fire. This helps prevent it from spreading. Build the fire. Start with a small pile of kindling and arrange larger sticks and logs around it in a teepee shape. Light the kindling and gently blow on it to encourage the flames. Maintain the fire. Add larger logs as the fire grows. Be mindful of your fuel supply and use it sparingly. Extinguish the fire. When you're ready to leave or sleep, make sure the fire is completely out. Pour water on the embers and stir the ashes until they're cool to the touch. Dealing with extreme temperatures. The desert is known for its extreme temperature fluctuations. Here are some tips for dealing with both the scorching heat and freezing cold. Heat. During the day, stay in the shade as much as possible. Wear loose, light-colored clothing that covers your skin. Drink water regularly and avoid strenuous activity. Cold. Desert nights can be surprisingly cold. Use any extra clothing or blankets to stay warm. If you have a fire, use it for warmth, but be cautious not to fall asleep too close to the flames. First aid and medical emergencies. Injuries and medical emergencies can be life-threatening in the desert. Here are some basic first aid tips. Heat stroke. Symptoms include confusion, headache, dizziness, and nausea. Move the person to a shaded area, cool them down with water, and seek medical help immediately. Dehydration. Symptoms include dry mouth, dizziness, and dark urine. Drink water slowly and rest in the shade. Severe dehydration requires medical attention. Snakebite, remain calm and keep the bitten limb immobilized. Avoid cutting the wound or attempting to suck out the venom. Seek medical help as soon as possible. Cuts and scrapes, clean the wound with water and cover it with a clean bandage. Keep the wound dry and watch for signs of infection. Sunburn, apply cool water or aloe vera to the affected area. Stay out of the sun to prevent further damage. Mental resilience. Surviving in the desert is as much a mental challenge as a physical one. Maintaining a positive mindset can significantly impact your chances of survival. Here are some strategies for staying mentally strong. Stay focused, keep your mind occupied with tasks and goals. Break down your actions into small, manageable steps. Stay positive, remind yourself that rescue is possible and that each action you take brings you closer to safety. Stay connected, if you're with others, support each other and work together. If you're alone, talk to yourself to keep your spirits up. Stay informed, use your knowledge and skills to your advantage. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to handle challenges. Preparation and prevention. The best way to survive in the desert is to be prepared before you find yourself in a survival situation.